and welcome to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce, where we connect with Troy Chamber members as they give us a glimpse into their company and share some of the business lessons they've learned along the way. Hi, everyone. I'm Tara Tomczyk-Cusick, President and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined by everyone's favorite co-host and Vice President of the Chamber, Sheila Dunstead.
Hello.
First, I'd like to take a moment and thank our presenting sponsor, Tryon Solutions. Stay tuned for our very first commercial break where you can learn how you can rely on Tryon. So, Sheila, we have a very fun guest. Would you mind doing some introductions?
I would not at all, actually. I am very excited to introduce one of our amazing Troy Chamber ambassadors. But wait, he's much more than that, too.
Right, there's more.
Today, we're meeting with Matt Dery, Marketing and Business Development Director in his 5th year at Financial Architects, Inc. He shares the same role within transition planning company and sister company of FAI, Q5 Experience. Q5 works with business owners who are usually 3 to 5 years out from their exit and do not have succession plans in place. Q5 helps with that. Before Matt joined FAI, he spent 3 years teaching journalism and 21st century media and cultural communications at the University of Detroit Jesuit High School and Academy. With a strong background in sports broadcasting, he took on various communication roles at the school, including moderating the Cub broadcast and Cub sportscast. Prior to his time at U of D, Matt was a sports talk radio host for Detroit Sports 105.1 FM. He also worked for 97.1 The Ticket, and WDFN is best known for his role as Pistons pregame and postgame radio host for 12 years. Currently, he hosts a popular daily podcast, Locked on Lions. Oh, my God, are we? And serves as TV analyst for G League's Motor City Cruise. Additionally, Matt is a fill-in talk show host for 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Matt
Oh,
Dery.
my gosh. Is this long
Welcome.
overdue? All right, let me hijack the show for a second.
Oh, no.
Not surprised.
No.
Go for it.
So, first of all, I love both of you. All right, it's so great to be here. So great. Honored to be on the podcast and on the show. So I watch it all the time. So please subscribe and follow on YouTube.
Oh, I love that. Well played, well played. Well, it's funny, Matt. So obviously, what's really funny is I always like to learn more and more about you. We both started in media. I actually taught elementary music for a bit as well.
Nice.
So we have some of the same kind of career paths, but as I look at your career path, you've had quite some changes going on.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the change of position and what skills transpired as you continue to grow.
It's funny, Tara, because a lot of times at chamber events, people will come by, especially new members or guests that don't know that I'm a part of the chamber or even an ambassador. And they're like, wait, the guy from the radio? Like, what are you doing here? What's this exit planning you're talking about? What's Q5? Aren't we talking about the Lions? And I'm like, we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up wanting to be on the radio.
Yeah.
So that was all I wanted. I went to Syracuse for that, was on the radio at Syracuse, was at the student radio station there that brought us guys like Mike Tirico and Bob Costas and Ian Eagle and Sean McDonough. Those are all my idols and guys that I wanted. Now, guys that I'm friends with that are mentors for me. But it hit a point in 2016 where Sheila was mentioning Detroit Sports 105.1, which was an unmitigated disaster, that I got fired. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But the skill set, like you said, Tara, that I still use to this day is you have to have people skills. You got to be able to talk. I know now we're in this AI world and we're in, everybody's texting, everybody's, on Teams or Zooming, but there's still that, some of those skill sets that I learned of being on the radio that I can utilize now as a marketing and business development director.
You know, it's funny, though. You bring up the fact that obviously nobody wants to get fired. But I mean, they don't. But sometimes those are the things that actually get to change your life into a better trajectory. And it's one of those situations. You always wanted to be on the radio. You always wanted that. But like you're doing such amazing things.
Thank you.
It's fun how it all works out.
It does. I mean, I'll never forget the day it happened. It was March 18th of 2016, where the program directors are on a Friday at 6:02 and the show ends, and he walks in, and I'm like, what's he still doing here? And then you walk down the hallway with him. Let's go for a little walk. And I'm like, are we really going to the conference room? I'm like, brown envelope time? Because let's just get this over with, because I got to go take my wife up to Traverse City for her birthday weekend. So let's just get this over with. And he's like, calm down. It was a bleep show. But like, regardless, you're right. It hit me that day that where I was not a good place. Yeah. I love the company, don't get me wrong. And I still have friends in that Beasley building, but like It was time for probably something new. And I know you're going to ask me about it, but the rewarding part of working at U of D High was just so great that it was a smoother transition than I thought. Plus, 3 months of severance wasn't bad.
Yeah, nailing it.
So I was telling Tara earlier, the first time we met, we were at lunch and we were talking, and I'm like, his voice was familiar, da-da-da. And
Yes.
we started talking
Yes.
sports. And we were having a great conversation. I don't know if you remember, you got up to go to the bathroom. The person we were with is like, do you know who that is? I'm like,
God.
yeah, it's Matt Dery. They're like, no, do you know who that is? I felt yay big after talking to you about sports.
No, that's never been me.
No, it never was, but it was really kind of fun to me because I do know your voice and I did know who you are. And I do know you had a passion for radio. Do you miss it? Is it still there? What's going on with that?
Well, I miss some of the friendships and I miss some of the on-air stuff for sure. When there are big events that happen, especially, whether it's, I'm a big baseball guy. So like the Tigers run right now would be fun to talk about, even though I'm not a Tigers fan. I actually don't like them. I'm a Cleveland fan and we're probably gonna end up playing them. But like, it's weird. Stuff like that I miss, but I do not miss the day-to-day. I do not miss some of the management people I worked for, and just how tough the business is. You think you're doing well, your ratings are good, but these companies struggle. Odyssey in Cleveland actually is where I fill in, like you said, Sheila. I love the fan, and I like filling in. I can do a Saturday morning. I can do a Thursday during the holidays, and then that's good. I'm good for a while. And doing Locked On Lions every day is kind of my taste of it, and it scratches the itch for 26 minutes a day. And then I can go back to being around family and doing what I love doing, and being part of the chamber has been awesome. But, it's a long way of saying I miss it a little. Yeah. But mostly no. The last 2 roles I've had at U of D High and then now at FAI and Q5 have been so great that it's not like I'm sitting here dying to be in the studio anymore.
But you're still getting that opportunity to talk sports.
Yeah.
So that kind of, scratches it back a little bit.
Totally does. And the great thing about Locked On, so that started, the guy that started the Locked On Podcast Network called me in June of 16 as I was still looking for work. And I was probably going to end up at U of D, but I didn't know for sure. And like he said, I want you to we're going to do a Lions and Pistons show and start with NFL, NBA around the country. Do you want to do the Pistons show? Because that was my background with them. And I said, no offense to the Pistons, God love them, but I want to do the Lions show. This is football. This is a football town. And he's like, it's yours. So I've been doing it for 9 years. So that, you're right. I mean, I edit the show myself. I put it in on YouTube and our Simplecast system. And so that still gives me that joy of doing it. And I still love doing it. That I would probably get if I was doing nothing, I would probably miss it more. But podcasting now, as you guys know, as we're sitting here on your show, has been it's blowing up. It's fun, and it's only 26 minutes. I'm upstairs for dinner with my wife every night at 6. She knows I usually record around 5, and I can get to my evening, so it's all right.
I love it, and then we get to talk smack about football afterwards too. So
Right.
there's no negatives in any of that.
No, and the way the Lions are going right now, I mean, this has been awesome. I mean, the transformation's insane. Because a few years ago, during the Patricia and Quinn era, everyone's like, "I'm done with your show." No offense, like I haven't watched it in a while.
Locked in.
Right, it was locked off Lions for most people, and now our YouTube views are through the roof. We've got random chamber members texting me like, "Hey, I saw your show." I'm like, "You're watching?" But I'll take it. It's fun.
That's awesome.
There's hope again.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this might be a good moment to take a quick break and hear a word from our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. We'll be right back.
I'm Joe Vicari, President and CEO of the Joe Vicari Restaurant Group, which encompasses 24 restaurants throughout the country. With the addition of Trion, our general managers don't have to spend hours doing paperwork and putting people in our system. All that's done by Trion now, so they can work on what they are there to do, take care of our customers. That's why we rely on Trion.
You can always rely on Trion.
Welcome back to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber. So as we're talking to you, Matt, a little bit about, you've brought up a few times about going to U of D high school. So obviously that had to be transformational change for you, but let's talk a little bit about that impact and what that meant to you.
Tara, I had no teaching certificate. I had no experience. I remember when I was being interviewed by Sam Evald, who was leaving that gig. He was the journalism teacher and media and comm teacher. And he's like, I got to interview you first. Because I basically reached out to the school and said, I love this school. It's my adopted high school. I grew up in Cleveland, but it was kind of my adopted school. I had friends there. It's a great place. It's still a great place. And I said, what do you guys have? Do you guys have anything like in the marketing department? Can I do marketing for you? Can I be kind of a public affairs person? And they said, actually, Sam's leaving. Sam Evall is his name. And I used to be a guest speaker in his journalism class every semester. I would go in there. So they're like, well, do you think you could teach and take over for him? And I said, I guess, yeah, but that might be fun. And interviewed with him and then I interviewed with Tony Trudell, the principal, and got the job. And I was worried because all these teachers that have gone to school for it, had their certificates, you didn't have to have one, teaching in a private school, would be like frowning upon, like, who's this guy from the radio that just thinks he can come in here and teach? Well, I think I did a damn good job. I was there 3 years, and it just, to meet the parents, to get to know the kids. I bawled my eyes out at Meet the Teacher night 4 weeks in because I just could not tell them how much I appreciated their sons and what we were going through, because my last couple of years in radio just sucked.
Yeah.
And so this was like totally rewarding to touch the lives of these kids and teach them about what I had gone through in journalism and stuff. And it was fun. I loved it.
Well, and it's funny because you didn't have the intent of going in as a teacher then, is what you're telling me.
No,
So,
I have a wife and kids and families like you guys do. So it's like, I just needed a job, but I wanted to be somewhere cool and reached out to a lot of
something you
different
believed in
people.
too. You
Exactly.
obviously believed in this school.
I did. They were always great to me. A lot of friends there. Like I said, still do. So it was like, this was a good fit. And I was there for three magical years.
What was one of your favorite moments there? Do you have any fun memories?
Well, I mean, we transformed the Cubs sportscast, which I took a lot of pride in. One of the students that was a senior my first year, Noah Taluki, and I talk seriously almost every day still. I mentored him. Colin Eads, who you guys met at a couple of Troy Chamber events, was an intern this summer. I mentored him and his brother, John. I try to take care of these kids like they were my own. I really, I had one kid that got kicked out my second to last year there, and it was painful for me. I hated it, and I took the time in class to even talk about it. I said, we're scrapping today's lesson. We're going to talk about what's going on, because all the guys came up to me and said, did you hear about? I'm not going to out him on this show, but and he would watch if I told him to. But it was tough. But the relationships that I made there were insanely awesome. So that's what I took from it. It was great.
Well,
yeah.
And that kind of shows and goes into this next question, because we're going to talk business again. But
So
the
boring. Sorry,
not
Sheila.
with you.
Yeah,
Not with you,
fine.
because it's talking about that relationship building, of which I think
Right.
you are fantastic at.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're in charge of marketing, business development, blah, blah, blah. But what matters most to you about bringing clients to the company you work for? How do you do that? What are your insights into
You
that?
guys have seen me in action at the chamber, but like, it is all about, I always say KLT, know, like, and trust. I'm not a financial advisor. I work for a company that has them, and those are my teammates. But I just know that if people know, like, and trust you, and you get into good conversations with them, and you tell them about what we're about and how we could help them, it's pretty rewarding. And hopefully you bring folks to the right people, and I get out of the way. I make a lot of introductions, and this is still weird that I'm on the other side of the podcast.
Isn't it fun though? I kinda
Being
like
interviewed. But no, seriously, I think the know, like, and trust is huge. And I've been a client at Financial Architects since 2011, so it was easy for me to transition over there and kind of run marketing for them. I love social media. You guys know I post like zillions of times a day on LinkedIn, which is important. But you also, even just little things like, okay, you tag the people that you're in pictures with. You show that it's a fun place to be, and people would want to flock there and become clients or even strategic partners. And that's kind of what I do.
So I've watched you over the years. Trying to tell you.
Uh-oh. Now
At
it's going to get
events,
good.
you do something that's really great that I want you to share with our listeners. You have the ability to walk up to someone you don't know. Give people a lead-in, something they can do, because a lot of people are uncomfortable doing that. What's a word of advice for them to be able to just walk up to a random stranger and say, hi, I'm...
Well, first of all, Sheila, you're sitting next to the queen of walking up to people in Terra, so you should know that. We all have seen that. But
I don't know. I think she beats me on
Sheila's
that one.
good too. That's true. This is a tough
saying.
competition. I don't know. That's a good question, Sheila. I think that I feel like I have a responsibility to the team. I was waiting to do this. I was not a great teammate in radio. I went through a lot of bad stuff personally, my divorce, all this stuff, and I was a lousy teammate at times. And I remembered when I got to U of D, I'm like, wow, this is an environment I can't get sucked into the negativity, and I didn't. And then same with financial architects. They took a chance on me. Again, don't have a marketing degree. I'm not a business development expert, but like you said, I'm willing to go up and talk to people and say, hey, listen, we'd love to have a conversation, say hello, look them in the eye. Like we said, we're now, my kids are 23, 21, and 19, and I tell them sometimes, just talk to my daughter just now. She's a freshman at Bradley. Go talk to your professor in person. But I sent her an email. No, you go in I had students that would come to me at U of D, Jesuit, and say, Mr. Dery, I can't do this today, or I can't do that today. My assignment's not done. I appreciate that at least came to me as opposed to me going into the system and seeing that it's a 0, that they didn't turn it in. Come to me and talk. And so I think that I'm my dad's son. He's been gone 20 years, but this is who he was. So I kind of watched what he did. This is kind of what he did. So it's like, talk to people and again, if they'll know, like, and trust you, they'll do business with you, and then we're all in a good place.
Well, Matt, I know, like, and trust you,
Thank
which
you,
is a good sign. But is there any last little nugget you'd like to share with our listeners today? Just about about anything.
Well, no, to be quite honest, this has been long overdue. Like I said, I love you both. The Chamber's been unbelievable for me and for both companies. I know there's a lot of financial advisors that are a part of the Chamber. We just had a morning jam recently, and I could go through all of them and what they say. So I'm able to really utilize what we do at Q5 on the business exit planning side, where companies and owners are not sure where to start when it comes to their transition plan. That's what we help them do. But I'm able to do that, and everybody's really, really welcoming at the Chamber. People come up and say, tell me a little bit more, or I've got a referral for you or a lead for you, and we do that vice versa. It's a special place, the Troy Chamber of Commerce. It really is. Not just saying that. I know I became an ambassador kind of early. I know our boy Chuck says, you got to be on be here a long time. Chuck, I love you, brother, but I was here a year, and Ted came to me and said, can you be an ambassador? Why wouldn't you be if you want to be around people that are going to help your business, but also bring you some joy? The amount of very good friends that I've made, I didn't go into Troy Chamber thinking, I got to know Sheila, and she helped get me in. But I had no idea that I would make these kind of friendships. If I'm on 275 at 2 a.m. driving home, and I can't get a hold of my wife and my car broke down, I could call Regina Kolarczyk. I could call Michelle Joyce. I could call Ted. They'd come get me. These have become really good friends of mine. And I'm just using those 3 as an example. You guys too. So it's like, that's what you want it to be about, as opposed to just, you're in this Chamber of Commerce. Do you get business from it? Yeah, but I'm also made some really good friends, and it's a place that we're in a tough spot right now in society. But going places that are going to bring you joy, thumbs up, man. That's kind of what I'm about. So
that was
sorry.
the best last nugget. I'm like, well, that was
I can talk.
But thank you.
Sorry, I went long.
Well, and thank you, Matt, so much for joining us today.
Thank you, ladies. Yep.
We were nervous because you're so skilled at this. We were like, we've got to step our game up.
You guys do a great job. It was a lot of fun. Made it easy for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, that's all we have here today on Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Tryon Solutions. To learn more about the Troy Chamber of Commerce or to come to any of our upcoming events, go to troychamber.com. Thanks, Matt, and everyone have a great rest of your day. Bye now.